सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. In Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 7, we have completed up to 19th sloka. Now, we have to come to 20th sloka. Bhagavan has categorized bhaktas into 4. Artha bhaktas, then Ardhardi bhaktas, Jijnasu bhaktas, Jnani bhaktas. Artha bhaktas are those who pray God whenever there is a problem. They pray God, they worship God whenever there is a difficulty. So their worship is for dukkha nivrutti, to avoid troubles and tribulations. They approach God. The second category is Ardhardi Bhaktas. They approach God, they pray God for sukha prapti, for comforts and luxuries. It is more a business bhakti. They offer certain amount, they offer certain things, and say, if you fulfill this, I will give this. They put a bait even to God. This type of bhakti is called business bhakti. The first one is SOS bhakti. Then the bhakta becomes more matured. Then he understands that there is no ultimate security, peace and happiness in this Artha bhakti and Ardhardi bhakti. So he understands the real happiness is within you. By knowing your own real self, you get happiness. So, for this knowledge, he understands that he has to learn Shastra under an able and competent Guru. So, his definition of moksha changes from loka prapti to Jnana prapti. So for want of Jnanam, he approaches a Guru. At this stage, the Bhakta is called Jijnasu Bhakta. The fourth variety, the fourth and final variety of Bhaktas is Jnani Bhakta. Paramatma says Jnani Bhakta is the one who understands the reality, the real Swarup of God and the real Swarup of oneself. He understands in reality the God and the individual are same. There is nothing here other than God. So that kind of Purnatva Siddhi a Jnani Bhakta gets. And he cannot tolerate any difference between himself and God. He cannot tolerate any distance between himself and God. Such an ultimate bhakti is Jnani Bhakti. Now, after giving explanation of all these bhaktas, all four kinds of bhaktas, Paramatma again said one more additional information. He said, among these four bhaktas, the Jnani Bhakta is the superior one. He is the ultimate one, and he is the most dearest Bhakta to me, he declared. So he said that Jnani Bhakta is the most beloved one for me because he never thinks a separation from me. He is always with me, so much so I am always with him. So that's what Paramatma declared. Now, having introduced the Bhaktas and the Bhakti chapter, now Paramatma is entering into another topic called Sakama Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. So he wants to explain about Sakama Bhakti and Nishkama Bhakti. So Slokas starting from 20th up to 30th deal with these kinds of bhaktas. 20 to 26 deals with Sakama Bhakti. So in this Sakama Bhakti, it is worshipping God and keeping the worldly things, the mundane things, as the lakshya, as the targets, as the end for bhakti. Bhakti is the means here. For human beings, we have four kinds of purusharthas, four pursuits: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Of these, living moksha, the other three, that is dharma, artha, kama, they are impermanent ends, impermanent lakshyas, impermanent targets. Artha means to acquire a lot of sampada, lot of property and all that. But all this will come and go. None of them will stay. Then Kama Purushartha is the one which gives you comfort and luxuries. They are also not permanent. Then Dharma Purushartha is the Purushartha which gives punyam for the human being. Because of this Dharma Purushartha, a person is entitled for Urdhva Lokas. He can go to Swargadi Lokas, Bhuloka. After Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, like this, 6 superior lokas are there. He can go and stay there. But the stay in these lokas are also not permanent. Because Bhagavan tells that these lokas are not permanent. Where is the question of the indwellers of the lokas? Denizens of these, superior lokas are also not permanent. So, this way, in the Sakama Bhakti, a person always seeks the ends which are impermanent. In Kathopanishad language, this is called, he is always into prayas. All 3 lakshyas are prayo margam. So, they deal with anatma. So Sakama Bhakti is more a business-oriented bhakti. I will give this if you do this. If you offer like this, there is some meaning. But these Sakama Bhaktas say, you first give this, then only I will give my, offer. So they will not give away the offer first. They will even doubt Bhagavan. There is one person, one Vyapari, he is in a very difficult situation. His health was going down. Doctors declared that now he cannot live. His days are counted. So at that stage, this Vyapari, the businessman, said, "Oh, Lord Venkateswara, I will offer you my ring, the golden ring, if you save me from this illness." Then Bhagavan heeded to his offer and he cured him miraculously. So somehow he came out of that illness, and now he has to fulfill the wish. But by the time he recovered and became normal, the gold rate became very high. So being a businessman, he thought, he has to settle it in a business way. So he said, I offered Bhagavan this particular ring on so-and-so date. So that day, the gold rate was this, very low. Whereas today, the gold rate is very high. So I offer whatever is the price of that ring according to the rate of that day, which is lower than today's rate. So like that he, counted the price of the golden ring backdated. He wanted to drop that money into hundi. At that time, his ring also slipped into hundi. See, you cannot cheat God. So the idea is, the Sakama Bhakti is always like this. This Sakama Bhakti is business oriented, and it is a Dvaita Bhakti. Bhagavan is different from the individual. Bhagavan is a means to achieve the ends, that to the mundane ends. So this is the aspect. In Nishkama Bhakti, it is not like this. Nishkama Bhakti is not for mundane happiness. Nishkama Bhakti is, not having any mundane desires. In Nishkama Bhakti also desire will be there. The desire is to know God, the God's reality, the God's real Swarupa. An individual wants to know God's real Swarupa. So that is the desire. The desire is not on dharma, artha, kama. His desire is only on moksha. So Paramatma says this bhakta is superior to the other two. That is Artha Bhakti and Ardharthi Bhakti. So he is Jijnasu Bhakti. At some stage, Sakama Bhaktas must transform into Nishkama Bhaktas. Paramatma wants to say this, that Nirguna Parabrahma is superior to Saguna Brahma. Nirguna Parabrahma is the God in Jijnasu Bhakti as well as Jnani Bhakti. And he is superior. So this is what Paramatma wants to say. So all Saguna Devatas, they come and go. We celebrate their birthday, and we also remember the Niryanam, Krishna's Janmashtami. And if you go to the place in Gujarat, they say this is the place where Krishna Paramatma had exited this world. So this way, there is an arrival and there is a departure. So a God in human form, whatever be the God, whatever the name you give, is limited. So the Saguna Brahma has limitations. Whatever the Saguna Brahma you take. So just like, the flag, the national flag. National flag represents the entire nation. But the flag is limited. The nation is, very huge and unlimited compared to the flag. In the same way, we have many gods. Rama, Krishna, Ayyappa, Venkateswara Swami, then Sai Baba, like that, there are so many gods. All these gods represent Saguna Brahma. They are Nirguna Brahma's representation. If you read Siva Puranam, you talk about the greatness of Siva. It is narrated there, Shiva is Sarvantaryami and he is everything. He is omnipotent like that. If you read Vishnu Puranam, Vishnu is Sarvantaryami. Devi Bhagavatam, Shakti is the highest. And all other gods, they salute to Shakti. So like that, whatever be the Ishta Devata, if you read the literature of that Ishta Devata, it is always highlighted that Saguna Brahma is highlighted. But in reality, the Nirguna Parabrahma is the ultimate, the Saguna Ishvara. It is only a symbolic to Nirguna Parabrahma. It is like this, if you take a checkbook and if somebody asks which leaf is superior, when nothing is written, all leaves are equal. If on the first leaf, if you write 10 rupees and the fourth page, if you write 10,000, the fourth page is superior. So in the similar way, who is great? Shiva is great or Vishnu is great? We cannot answer because they are all representation of the Nirguna Parabrahma. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Paramatma clearly said, Sarvam Vasudevamayam. In the previous sloka, Paramatma clearly said, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So, everything is Vasudevamayam. So, Vasudeva means not Vasudeva Putra. It doesn't mean Krishna. It is Nirguna Parabrahma, Sad Brahma. That's why, in the coming slokas, the Sakama Bhakti means Anya Devata Bhakti. Whereas Nishkama Bhakti is Nirguna Parabrahma Bhakti. So this is what Paramatma wants to say. So the Nishkama Bhakti is superior, Sakama Bhakti is inferior. So 20th sloka we'll see. Kamaistaistaihrhuta jnanaha prapadyante devataha tam tam niyamamastaya prakrutya niyata svaya taihi kamaihi krutajnanaha svaya prakrutya niyataha ajnaninaha tam niyamam astaya anya devataha prapadyante. So these people, for want of the local things, mundane things, they do not have jnanam. They lost the jnanam because of the delusion, and they worship the local gods because they want to fulfill their desires. So for these mundane things, mundane targets, some people, they pray Anya Devatas. Anya Devatas means the local gods, not the Nirguna Parabrahma. Kamaihi means for Dharmartha Kamas. Anya Devata means one who has got limitations. They pray Lakshmi Devi for Aishwaryam, for prosperity, for wealth and good living. Some pray Ashwini Devatas for health. Some pray Ganesha for removing obstacles. So like that, whatever be the desire, they choose the Devata. Why do they do like this? Paramatma is saying, Kruta Jnanaha. Because they lost their Jnanam. They do not know Nirguna Parabrahma is the superior and all Saguna Devatas, Anya Devatas, here it is mentioned Anya Devatas, all these Anya Devatas are simply symbolic to that Nirguna Parabrahma. So he says that intellect is totally deluded. Because if one uses the intellect, they understand these Anya Devatas, they have a limitation. So when they have limitation, when you seek the objects which are limited, they do not give, the objects in this mundane world will not give you the ultimate ananda. So this kind of minimum intelligence they cannot apply. So that is why Paramatma said Hruta Jnanaha. So they are having Alpa Buddhi or Manda Buddhi. By Sakama Bhakti, you always desire something which has limitation. But Sakama Bhakti is perfectly all right. And if you worship God in Sakama Bhakti, you are going to get your desire fulfilled, provided you do it with all protocol. All the conditions you have to follow without any dilution and distortion. So, if a puja has to be performed in the Rahu Kalam, exactly in that time you have to perform. Only at that time you have to go to temple. Then, certain pujas you have to perform this many weeks, you have to do it. Then, if you want a marriage to be performed, then a person has to go to a temple and offer 2 malas to God, and 1 mala he has to get back and keep it until he gets married. So like that, there are various methods. You have to follow them without any dilution. There are certain ahara niyamas also. Then Naivedya niyama is also there. Vastra niyamam is also there. Such and such food you have to take. You have to offer certain, ingredients to God. You have to wear certain dress. So like that, you have to follow exactly whatever is required for a particular, worship. So you have to follow the do's and don'ts. Tam niyamamastaya. So if you are praying a God with certain desire, then definitely you have to follow the rules to the core. Tam. But 2 times using this word tam, the meaning is such devatas. That means the devata for me in Sakama Bhakti may be different from devata for you. I may pray Hanuman. You may pray Venkateswara. Like that, tam. Tam means such gods. People choose and then they pray and worship. Prakrutya niyataha swaya. So based on their raga dveshas, their worship also will vary. These pujas are performed for 2 reasons. For ragam, that means to acquire certain things. They perform these pujas to get promotion, to get children, to get married, to get property. Like that, you have ragam on certain things. Because you have ragam on certain things, you perform these pujas. This is one reason for the wish. Similarly, dvesham is another reason for the wish. If you have dislike, if you do not like a particular thing, then you want to get away that particular thing. It may be a person, or it may be a place, it may be a job, whatever it is. You don't want to continue that. So you want to get away from that situation. That is called dvesham. So for both ragam and dvesham, people worship. So nobody worships for moksham. Moksham means beyond raga dvesha. So always people are they are bounded by desires, and the desires are full of ragam and dvesham. So we'll proceed to the 21st sloka. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhaya architumichhati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaham. Yaha yaha bhaktah yam yam tanum shraddhaya architum ichhati tasya tasya tam eva shraddham aham achalam vidadhami. So, the Sakama Bhakta, whoever the Devata he chooses, so he prays that God, and as a Nirguna Parabrahma, I see that his bhakti stays, his bhakti is fortified. Whatever the God he prays, I'll see that his bhakti increases. How a person's bhakti increases? By fulfilling the desires he seeks from that particular God. So, a person may choose a particular form of God like Venkateswara, Shiva, or Rama, Vishnu. Like that, the deities change. Then Paramatma sees that his bhakti is fortified, it gets more and more strength. They say Pasukamas Chinvita, Vittakamat Chinvita, Amayavi Chinvita, Brahmavarchak Kaman Chinvita. So if you want a lot of cattle, if you want money, if you want Brahma Tejas, then there is a method to get this in this Astra. So, Bhaktaha Tanum Architum Ichhati. So, the Bhakta has got some fascination, some kind of liking to a particular God. So, depending on their bhakti, they choose a God, Ishtadevata, and then they do this upasana or worship. For the improvement of health, if a person is a Vishnu Bhakta, then he will pray Dhanvantari. If he is a Shiva Bhakta, then he prays Trayambakam Vijamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Some people, they say you pray Aswini Kumaras. So like that, some they do Aditya Hrudayam. Like that, depending on the liking and the taste, they can choose the God. So, the Sakama Bhakti is a real good Bhakti. We are not saying Sakama Bhakti is bad. Sakama Bhakti is good. That is the starting stage. Don't stay there. That's what Paramatma wants to emphasize. Therefore, in Sakama Bhakti, whatever be the wish they have to do the worship as per the conditions prevailed there. Shraddhaya architum ichhati. You have to do it with full reverence and devotion. So, if you do that with utmost devotion, with utmost faith and reverence, then definitely God will answer. It is like this, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Just as this is true, the Sakama Bhakti is also true in fetching the desires. Mantre tirde dvije daive daivajne bishaje gurau yadrusi bhavana yasya siddhir bhavati tadrusi. So there are 7 different aspects which will give you good result. So that is mantram, tirtham, then the Brahmin, then Daivam, then the people who are noble and very holy, doctor, then the guru. So all these, whatever be your feeling, whatever be your approach, whatever be your trust in them, in these things, because mantra is there, mantra, tirtha, there you cannot use in them. So whatever be the faith you have in these aspects, based on that you get the result. So this Shraddha is very, very important. Tasya Shraddham aham achalam vidadami. So I see that his bhakti increases day by day. How it increases? By fulfilling his desire. I see that his bhakti becomes multifold. Here you should remember, really they are worshipping me, though they are choosing a pratika, though they are choosing a symbolic god which is available in the mundane world, but ultimately they are praying me. That is Aparichinna Brahma, that is the Nirguna Brahma. Through Saguna Brahma they are approaching me. So Anya Devata, these Parichinna Devatas or Apurna Devatas, they are fulfilling through me. That is, all these Devatas, they get power through Nirguna Parabrahma. So Paramatma is telling me means that the ultimate Nirguna Parabrahma. From that Nirguna Parabrahma, these Saguna Ishwaras, they get this Shakti. So, whether you worship Vishnu, whether you worship Shiva, whether you worship Devi, all your worship will go to Nirguna Parabrahma, and your wish will be fulfilled by Nirguna Parabrahma through Saguna Parabrahma. Whoever you choose as your deity, through the deity, Paramatma fulfills your wish. It is like this: Akasat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha kesavam pratigacchati. So the water drop which falls from Akasha, so it goes into a river, and river flows through so many ways, from hills, hillocks, and through land, like that, it flows miles and miles, and ultimately reaches Sagaram. Starting point is Akasa. The ending point is Sagaram. That is the ocean. So like that, you may offer your namaskara to any god, but ultimately it goes to Keshava. Here the word Keshava, it can be taken as the Nirguna Parabrahma. So whether you do Shiva Puja, Ganesh Puja or Keshava Puja, ultimately it reaches that Ananta Parabrahma. So that Ananta Parabrahma will only fulfill your wish. If you look at these Sahasranamas of Vishnu, Shiva, all these gods, the Sahasranama of various gods, if you just observe, along with the Saguna Varnana, there are certain Nirguna Varnanas which are common, like Anantaya Namaha, Sarvagataya Namaha. These qualities which represent the Nirguna Parabrahma, which is the ultimate God. Sarva Sarva Sivasthanu. This is there in Vishnu Sahasranamam. But here it is mentioned that there is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu. So I will pray only Vishnu, I won't go to Shivalayam. That is not correct. Tasya sraddham aham achalam vidadhami. So I will enforce their sraddha. So by saying this, Paramatma is saying these mundane gods are only representation. The real Shakti is coming from me. So don't fight for these mundane gods. Such and such God is superior, the others are inferior. No such difference. Sataya sraddhaya yuktaha satyaradhanamihate labate cha tathakkaman mayeva vihitan hitan. Saha taya sraddhaya yuktaha tasya aradhanam ihate tataha cha maya eva vihitan tan kaman labatehi. This word ihate means with liking, with a lot of interest, this sadhaka performs his aradhana. Saha taya sraddhaya. So that bhakta with a lot of shraddha, shraddhaya yuktaha, tasya aradhanam ihate. So he performs his puja with utmost devotion and reverence. Tataha maya eva. For such person, I only vihitan tan kaman hi labate. So whatever is the wish, I only fulfill his wish. I only fulfill his wish means this Nirguna Parabrahma. He finally satiates the wish of all bhaktas, irrespective of the denomination, whatever they choose, irrespective of the name and form they choose. They may choose the local deity, some Grama Devata. In our place there is a local deity, she is known as Talupulamalova. People go in huge crowds and offer things to her, and they believe that their wish is fulfilled. So you cannot say she is superior, others are inferior, because the Shakti is given to them through me. Through me means my ultimate form, my reality. That is what Paramatma is saying. Some say that, because of you as a guru, I am cured of this disease. Because of you as a guru, I got US citizenship. So because of you, I got, my wish fulfilled. Like that, they attribute the credit to the guru. They really have that shraddha in guru. Then, if you apply this rule, the Shakti in the guru is due to that Nirguna Parabrahma. Just as you pray a god in a statue, a living guru is a god, and you have the same reverence and worship him. Then also your wish is fulfilled. That's what Paramatma is saying. I am the reason behind this. You can choose any symbol as your God. Some people, they don't keep Guru or God, the local deity as their symbol. Some people, they keep Om as their symbol. They only chant Om. They get their wish fulfilled. With mantra chanting, they will get the wish fulfilled. So like this, whatever be the form, whatever be the symbol you select, through that symbol, your wish is fulfilled because of me. I only give that power. I only, fulfill your wish. Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktaha. So the person with lot of Shraddha, he praise God. Tasya Aradhanam Ihate. So they pray God and Tataha Kaman Labate. So all his wish is fulfilled. Mayeva Vihitan Kaman. I am only the person, I am only the reason for their fulfillment of their wishes. I means the Nirguna Parabrahma. So, the Paramatma is Purna Devata, Aparichinna Devata. All the local deities they are Parichinna Devatas and Apurna Devatas. All Saguna Ishvara is Apurna Devatas. They are supposed to be not superior. When you compare with the Nirguna Parabrahma. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Mam Santim Richati. So this is what Paramatma already told in the previous chapter. So, Labate cha tatah kaman mayeva vihitan hitan. Therefore, labate anya devata bhaktaha. So these bhaktas who pray local deities, their wish is fulfilled because I am there behind their wish. So, for that person, he feels that particular devata is, fulfilling his wish. Doesn't matter. So that's how I enhance his bhakti. That's what Paramatma is saying. So, the advantage of Sakama Bhakti is you can fulfill your mundane wish through Sakama Bhakti. But that is not ultimate. Because all these things, they have limitations. So, he has mentioned about Sakama Bhakti. Now he is going to talk about the limitations. Why it cannot be continued eternally. Why you have to go a step further. Why you have to, move to Nirguna Parabrahma. From Saguna Parabrahma, who is fulfilling the wish, who is, giving us happiness in this mundane world. Why should you shift to Nirguna Parabrahma? The first reason is, even though it appears these local deities are fulfilling the wish, but the real Shakti comes from Nirguna Parabrahma. So if I know the source, I can directly tap the source. Not only that, the local deities, whatever the wish they give, whatever the wish they fulfill, they are only impermanent. There are certain doshas. Now Paramatma is talking about these doshas. 23rd sloka. Antavat phalam tesham tadbhavat alpamedasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi tesham alpamedasam tat palam tu antavad bhavati devayajaha devan yanti madbhaktaha api mam yanti. So these people with alpa buddhi. Alpa buddhi means they have not matured. They have not analyzed the Atma and Anatma, the advantage and disadvantage of these wishes. The Prayo Margam and Sreyo Margam, they have not analyzed. So, because of their limitations, the low intellect, so they pray God who are Anya Devatas and they get inferior wishes. Their inferior wishes are fulfilled. Whereas my bhaktas, they ultimately, they become one with me. My bhaktas, they become one with me means they are in union with me. So here Paramatma wants to say the limitations of these mundane wishes. There are three doshas in these mundane wishes. The first dosham is dukkha misritatvam. So whatever be the wish you have in this mundane world, that is packed with dukkham. So if you want children, you have the wish to have children because you don't have children. The moment you have the children, then the real problem starts. You have to get them educated. You have to see that they are settled. So the real samsaram starts then. So every wish is packed with some dukkham. Then you want to have promotion. The moment you got promotion, your junior gets promoted to a higher rank. You got dukkham. Or you got a promotion, got transferred to a remote place, which you don't want. So like that, every wish, because it is limited by time and space, it gives you the limitation because nothing is permanent here. So dukkha misritatvam. You get dukkham in acquiring the thing you want. Arjane dukkham. Then whatever you got, you have to protect it. You have to see that it sustains. You have to see that it is sustained. That is rakshane dukkham. Then you have to see that it should not fall from you. Nase dukkham. So you get dukkham in all three stages. So while acquiring the priya vastu, you got dukkham. While protecting the priya vastu, you got dukkham. If the priya vastu is lost from you, then you got dukkham. Nothing is permanent. So the entire samsaram is dukkha misritatvam. This is one great disadvantage here. Atruptikaratvam. Atruptikaratvam means there is no trupti anywhere. Whatever you get, there is always a thing superior to this. Suppose you purchase a limousine, you purchase a very costly car, some BMW. Then your neighbor buys another car which is superior to this. So always that difficulty, that kind of envy, that kind of jealousy will be there. And dissatisfaction will continue. Because this desire is endless. A desire gets multiplied. As soon as you fulfill your desire, you get 10 more desires ready for you. So it is an unending process. So this kind of atruptikaratvam is another dosha. That is why Nachiketa clearly said, Vittena na tarpaniyo manushyaha. By vittam, by prosperity, these people are not satisfied. Even though he is at a tender age, he could talk such a matured words. Because he understood the samsara. Everything is apurnam here. Apurnam plus apurnam is apurnam only. Any object you get is not purnam. So you keep on piling up things, amassing wealth, that is apurnam. So it will never become purnam. Then the third dosha, which is bandhakatvam. So if you have anything in this world, enjoy any particular thing, then you get enticed with it. You get attached to that. The moment you lose, then you cannot tolerate that. You are in a highest pedal in your job. You are in the peak. like you became a chief secretary in the government. Then a day will come, you have to retire, which is not easy to bear. Because as long as you are in that portfolio, as long as you are in that status, you have get lot of people to, help you, to, obey you and all that. The moment you retire, all that is lost. So like this, everything, you have got so much of attachment with your children. You closely monitor their studies and their progress and everything. And finally, one day, they will leave you and go abroad for their settlement. Bandhakatvam will trouble you. A girl gets married and leaves you. So this way, the world gives you pain because you are so much attached to a thing and you don't want to lose it. And unfortunately, life is a game of meeting and part. So the bandhakatvam will give pain when a priyavastu goes away. This way, the world is having three doshas, that is dukkha misritatvam, atruptikaratvam, and bandhakatvam. So all this will give me pain. So I want a thing which is free from all these three doshas. That is a moksha, inner freedom. So for that, I have to acquire knowledge, the self-knowledge. So that's what Paramatma wants to emphasize. We will see that in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.